But now, ladies and gentlemen, we actually gonna pop right in because he just asked me a good question in terms of what was my motivation behind
Hey, is
starting
this
the
one of those?
podcast.
My bad. Is this one of those situations where I'm not supposed to look at the camera?
You can look at the camera if you
'Cause
want.
I
Sometimes I just stare the camera down while I'm talking.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
like,
listen, ladies and gentlemen.
when
blah,
it's
blah,
a
blah.
real serious point, I'm gonna have to hit him with this.
Yeah, but you don't gotta look. You can look wherever you want. You can look in the sky the whole time. You just might look funny. That's all.
All right, bro. Yeah.
But nah, he just asked me, ladies and gentlemen, what was my motivation behind starting the podcast? And some of y'all already know, so I'm gonna just explain it directly to you. So basically, how do I make this fast? I'm not gonna make it too fast, but basically, 2017 or like 2014, 2015, I moved to California after high school. You remember how I was talking to you the other day about how I did the little test thing that you did with the package, you know, and then you can graduate early if you do yeah. So I did that little package. I finished earlier than I was supposed to. And then I went to California. I was like, you know what? Let me slide to Cali. I slide to Cali, do some volunteer work, some random shit.
Nah, the random shit sound interesting.
It was dope. It was all right, yeah. So just remember, this podcast about you.
Oh no, look,
nah,
you good.
I'm down for these conversations.
I heard about some people used to go and they used to help autistic kids at this camp, something like that. So it was some volunteer work like that out in California. So I was wondering if you did something like that too.
It's in that realm. So I belong to a religion, a faith, however you want to identify it, is called the Baha'i faith. And in our culture, like in the culture of the faith, I guess you could say, once you hit 18 and you finish up high school, it's not required, but it's recommended that you go on a year of service, basically. And a year of service can be 1,000 different things. It could be a lot of things. There's a structured version of it where you can like literally go to a Baha'i institution and serve there for a year, helping out with a variety of things, which is what I did, which I'll get into in a second.
Beautiful.
Or you can go to like the Holy Land, which is like our Holy Land is in Israel. It's in Haifa, Israel, and that's like where our shrines are and like just all the. So you can go there and serve in thousands of different roles. Or you can do it more on like a simple neighborhood level. You can go to a part of the country where, or different countries where they're really trying to grow the faith, or they have a initiative. Maybe they're really trying to educate youth, not necessarily about the Baha'i faith, but just about how to find your way through that time of life, whatever it might be. And you can like move there and live there for a year and serve, and they'll help pay for your rent and stuff like that until your service is over. So personally, I went to something called Bosch Baha'i School. So it's like a campus in the Santa Cruz Mountains where they hold a lot of conferences, conferences, seminars, different things on different topics. But they also have oh boy, I thought that was me. I was like, dang, I thought I put my shit on. I like that. Every
day at 1 o'clock, I get that alone.
Yes, sir. I said I'm gonna jump into that exact same topic right after this. But basically, I went up there. Like I said, it's a campus, so there's like housing. There's a kitchen where people eat at for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's all types of things, and it's up in the mountains, so there's like trails and stuff. People can go walk onto like we'd have like the prayer mountain, where it's like at the end there was like you could oversee all the woods of Santa Cruz Mountains, and there was like a bench there and you could pray there. So whatever, we would just manage the campus, or I might be doing mowing one day. I might be in the kitchen cooking for everyone the next day. The next day after that, I might be in hospitality, helping clean their rooms while they're in seminars. I enjoyed it at times, and then other times I didn't enjoy it, which kind of leads into the podcast story. So while I was out there, I moved. I was like, I need to get out of Kansas City. I'm not trying to be here. None of the homies were doing anything that I felt was positive or in alignment with what type of time I was trying to be on. True. So I was like, well, this is my God-given, literally, opportunity to get out of any situation, that I might be put in. I wasn't gonna go to college. Didn't have a scholarship anywhere. I only had like 10 credit hours that I graduated with that little test thing. So you didn't need credits. You just needed to pass that little test. I had 10 credits. I wasn't gonna get into anywhere. I could go to fucking Penn Valley. No disrespect to anybody that went to Penn Valley, but that wasn't going to be the type of time I was on. And not from only the fact that if I'm going to go to school, I want to enjoy the social situation. True. I didn't feel like that was going to be a thing at such a small college, if that makes sense. So anyways, I go. While I'm there, it was like the first time I would say in my life I feel like I experienced, I don't know if I want to call it depression or loneliness, or if they're the same thing. To be honest, I'm very careful about how I use that term, depression. But while I was there, I just didn't have. It was a culture shock. I'm coming from the homies here who are, living whatever life they're living, and that's who I'm surrounded by with the energy, with our interactions, with our friendships, with our buddy pulling up, with our friendships, with our conversations, and then I'll go to what's it called, to down the street or something like that, and experience a whole different experience. All I'm saying is when I moved out there, it was just like straight spiritual I don't know how to explain it. Like everyone was focused on their spirituality, which in a way is good, but in another way is sometimes when we think we're focused on our spirituality, we are trying to be like the perfect pure person or whatever like that, and sometimes we can take that to an extreme where we're not actually being authentic. You can be authentic and strive to be your best self spiritually, mentally, physically, but you can also be like inauthentic, being like, I don't say that word because I don't say that, or I don't do this, even though you do it the next day. You just claiming you don't. I don't know how to explain it, but the culture of the situation was interesting. So many people from different countries, which was cool from one perspective, but also like from the other perspective, I was like, we don't vibe because it's just a totally different situation. And then all the older adults there that worked there, like, again, you didn't grow up in the situation I grew up in, or you didn't grow up around the people I grew up around, so you're not understanding where I'm at mentally versus what you trying to tell me. I'm just like,
true. Yeah.
It was just a lot weird. And I was in the mountains. I'm not in the city anymore. I'm not in a populated area. I'm up in the mountains, and then people up there were like, which is okay. Again, this is okay, but like, they was like Rasta white boys. Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about?
Dreads,
yeah.
I gave
them
the vibes.
Yeah, and super like spiritual-esque. And again,
Wookiees,
yeah, something like that. But interesting individuals. Again, cool, but interesting. And so I basically was like, I ain't got nobody to talk to. So I was calling home every day, like trying to talk to the homies. And then while I was calling home, bad thing. Oh, you heard he got arrested. You heard he got murdered. You heard he robbed the house. You heard he shot somebody. I'm just like, so it's just a lot. So I enjoyed it at times, and other times I was just really stressed and depressed.
In your mind, I'm sorry if I was cutting you off. I got really excited.
You good. Let's chop it up. Yeah.
In your mind, do you think that concept of home that you was longing for was ever where you thought it was? In all the places you was looking for home or resemblance was home, did you ever find that in any of those places?
That's a beautiful question. And the reason it's a beautiful question is because something I learned once I moved out of Kansas City is that home is wherever you make it. So I was like, home is wherever you make it, and success finds you wherever you decide to be successful.
Ooh.
If that makes sense. So I used to think I got to get out of Kansas City in order to find happiness, in order to find success, in order to find whatever it might be. But then I moved out there, and I'm like, oh, this is the reality here. Like, these are the problems here. There's still just similar problems. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Similar problems. I might see some richer people here, but they also got poor folks that are starving here too. They also got street shit going on here too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, this is everywhere.
I think it's only one story. I think we all kind of, no matter where you are, they say that you really can't change your karma, but you can change the environment that your karma is learned in. So the same problems are manifest in different frequencies. Like if you in like some street shit all the time, then your problems gonna manifest in that street shit. That's where all your attention at. But if you put your attention into something, and even in some higher level street shit, to where you might just want to be the nigga who not doing the crazy shit but still in the streets, it'll still be a lower level in order to learn those lessons. And I think that's important.
Exactly.
Like, isn't it interesting to know that in a place where like in a spiritual retreat, you still long for home?
It is interesting.
Did that ever bring any questions to your heart?
I don't know if I would say, I'm sure it brought thousands of questions, to be honest. And now reflecting on it, 8-9 years ago, it's kind of hard to remember. But I will say that for sure there were moments where I'm like, yo, what am I chasing? I guess was the question I would ask myself, both from a material and from a spiritual perspective. Like, what am I chasing, and could I find that anywhere? And that's what I learned while I was there, but then I had to relearn it over and over again, because once I left there, I left early. I was supposed to stay for a year. Again, I started feeling depressed. I started feeling lonely. I started feeling bad. And then the final thing is, One of my friends had passed away in like a bad accident, and then I was like, yeah, I'm going back home, man. Like, I need to be around my people while they're suffering, you know what I'm saying, while they're going through pain. So I went back home. But then when I got back home, I was like, damn. 3 months later, I'm like, I can't win here. Like, I'm not happy here. I got to go back to California. I got to go explore somewhere else. And so I did. I went to L.A. When I went to L.A., first 3 months, vibes, everything cooling. But then, again, same things start to manifest. You know what I'm saying? If you want to surround yourself with a certain type of people, guess who I'm surrounding myself with when I go there? Or guess who I'm running into? Guess what type of conversations? The same shit that's happening back home. Yeah. So you realize just what you said. You got to change your internal frequency in order for the frequency and the environment around you to change as well. Okay. So if I'm associating my life with, like, this is what I used to see, this is what my homies used to do, even though I was never like that, respectfully. I was never like that. I was in the house, baby, in the house. But, you know, if that was the story that I wanted to tell when I'm out there, that's the type of people I'm going to start attracting around me. Now what do I start seeing? The same shit. And it's like, oh, y'all wilding out here too. You live in the city where the most opportunities are as a, let's just say, a hip hop artist I met. Like, you right here down the street from all these huge record labels. If you hustle hard enough and you talented enough and you get in the right rooms, you can put yourself in a great position. But instead, you're deciding to choose to, like, do this other shit. So if that, what I mean by that is, like, I used to think the same thing back home. Why don't you go out there and do something with your life? You have the opportunities. You got a mom that loves you and shows up for you and tries to support you. Why don't you tap into that support? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, people are going to be people everywhere, no matter where you at. So basically, like, if I was to conclude everything I learned, there's a lot of things, but if I was to conclude it, it's like, hey, you can be successful in whatever city you're in. You can be happy in whatever city you're in. Moving and changing your environment helps you grow, but at the end of the day, you can win anywhere and you can be happy anywhere. Changing your environment, for sure. Moving to a different city. To be honest, I recommend everyone move and live somewhere else for at least a year, especially people under 30, like, because I do think there's something to learn, for sure. Okay. But you can still be happy and successful wherever you're at, and you can find your community wherever you're at. You can live in a town of 500, and you might not be able to find 3,000 people. 300 people that are aligned with you, but you can find 2. And you can build with those 2 and be happy with those 2. You know what I'm saying? So you can always find a way to win. That's what I'm saying.
I think I low-key dream of being in a boy band because I don't like holding mics. Like, anytime I picture myself on stage, it's with one of the little mics that, you know, all the that Usher had.
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, Usher had one of them. I need one of those. Like, that's how I want to be on stage.
I respect it.
And if anybody listening, I want them to put that thing that Stevie Wonder had when he sang Close to You on the microphone. You ever seen Close to You? Stevie Wonder sing. Stevie Wonder sung Close to You. Like, you ever heard Frank Ocean? You heard Frank Ocean? Yeah. Close to You by Frank Ocean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. In it, he sampled Stevie Wonder. Okay. So the auto-tune person singing is really Stevie Wonder's version of it when he used this talk box.
Gotcha.
And, like, they sell talk boxes for like $30. Like, they say it's like learning a new language, but it's like a piano, and then you blow in it, and then you can kind of say words.
Oh, that's gangster.
Oh God, you ever heard Return of the Mac? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got a talk box.
Oh, at the end, like that weird sound, but it's gangster. This is super dope. Oh God, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, and it blew up in like the 70s and 80s for a little bit. There was like a couple people that were really good at it.
Oh God, you know what song I think is genius? Computer Love.
Computer Love.
It's like, it was made in like the 80s, or like Computer Love.
I'm sure I would know it if I recognize it. It's with the same talk box thing though, right?
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's called Computer Love. It was made in like the 60s or the 70s, right? And like, on the phone, it sounds like they talking about being on FaceTime. But I remember when I was in the 90s, you know, that's how long I can remember back. Mm-hmm. And like, computers was the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? You remember that? You could. I remember playing Grand Theft Auto 1 on a computer, but it was from above type shit, and you had to do.
Oh, no. Hey, he definitely at least 5+ years older than me, because I don't remember shit about that.
Hey, I don't know about I'm telling you, brother. I just got a good memory. I swear. I remember when you had to when you get on the phone, you couldn't get on the internet. You remember that?
I don't. All I remember, this is as far back as my brain go. Technology, the dial phone where you had to go like, just. I remember that. I remember like them big ass phones you used to have in the whip. Them big ass ones. If you got one of them,
had one in the whip.
Yeah. It wasn't in my family, but we had this dude in the neighborhood that had.
All right, facts. He was a baller.
He was doing something. Silicon Valley.
Facts.
But either way, I remember that. What else? I remember them thick ass Apple computers that they had first, the ones that was like
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah. I
saying?
had those
Super
in
thing,
school.
and they were like a little box square screen. I remember that.
That's some shit from like 10 years ago. That's not a long time ago.
Facts. It was 2001. 2000. He said 2001. I was
Hey
32.
man, I would. So do you think that 2012 was our version of like Y2K? You don't know how they thought in 2000 the world was going to end. You remember 2012?
Yeah, I remember
Calendar?
2012. I remember 2012 when everyone genuinely thought the world was gonna end.
So
Talk to me about that though. Let's dive into that a little bit. What?
So, are we gonna start changing the conversation on the Mayans? Well, I guess niggas did stop talking about Mayans when it happened. Like,
What I want to know is,
right,
do you believe? Did you genuinely believe in that conspiracy theory? And what other conspiracy theories do you happen to believe in?
I'm not. I don't limit myself to what I can believe in. So yeah, I believed it for a little bit. I didn't know it. Yeah, but I believed it for a while. I'm like, all right. Y'all entertained it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't wanna, you know what I'm saying? All realities, you know, might be okay in a certain extent.
You believe in aliens?
Yeah.
In which way? In what way?
I think that they already found water on Mars. They just found water on the moon. They've been knowing there was water on like Titan and stuff like that, the Jupiter planets of Jupiter, you know. So and most water is like really really small types of life. So you know, yeah, it's aliens somewhere. Depending on what aliens you're looking for. Do I think there's other intelligent life? I don't think we intelligent. You know what I'm saying? So like we can't communicate. We can't communicate at a certain level in order to even, you know, monitor. We can't look. Like we ask a question and then we don't even have the necessities, the awareness enough to really go in depth and look, because like looking for a life right now, we'll only look for life that look like us. But what if there's life that don't look like us? Like what if there's life that can exist through fire? You know, like what if there's some type of life like that don't need oxygen?
That do make
air,
sense.
You know?
That do make sense, because when you were talking about there's always some form of small something in the water that's life. That's what I was thinking about. Is like I feel like people don't believe in aliens because they have a perspective, or
a small perspective.
They have a imagination, let me say, of what an alien should look like, and they hold it to that. Versus, like you said, there could be some sort of fire that like moves. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be some sort of fire that like moves and talks to each other on another planet that we don't consider life because it don't look like what we want it to look like.
I think the evolution of humanity is that we gonna learn how to manifest in a physical form into fire. Cause think about it, we came out of the water, then we went into the air. It's 4 elements. We go into the earth, but fire is still one of those untapped things we don't really know. And where does fire
explain that? Dive back in from water, because to me you sound like Avatar. You sound like the Avatar movie.
So at the beginning of the humanity, whenever the earth was first created, it was water, and then that's where the first life started, from water, right? But then we finally learned how to go into wind. So learning like patterns and algorithms and stuff, like it only makes sense that we gonna go into another element. Maybe not in our lifetime, but maybe in millions and millions of lifetimes, we might be able to, you know, bring life into fire. In which I think fire might be passion.
How we brought life into wind? Explain that.
I mean, we in it right now. You know what I'm saying? First it was water.
I see what you're saying. First we was
breathing.
existing in water.
Yeah.
And then we transferred and we were able to, you know, step up out of that and exist within oxygen and with water, air. Air, wind. I got you. And now you're saying that there might be some way that life
in the evolution of consciousness, I think that it goes into fire.
That's
or we might have came from fire. I hear that theory a lot. I hear that.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I ain't never heard that before, because you breaking my brains right now, brother. Pause. That sounds a little weird.
I seen you at the Travis Scott concert. Did you get an email for that?
Pause. You ain't see me at no Travis Scott concert.
Edit that out. Because I swear to God, I be out for some reason. I be calling ASAP Rocky Travis Scott sometimes.
Oh, you talking about I got you.
Yeah,
we gonna skip over that.
Look. I'm gonna just be honest and transparent. I think that if you had to name anybody who make the best music videos, it'd be a mix between Travis Scott and ASAP Rocky. So my excitement for just being in any one of those videos, just take my words there already. Regardless, my words, I don't really be set on the words. I just be more expressive to the feelings. Like, we was in the ASAP Rocky video. Like, he made some of the best videos ever. Like, if you really sit down and compare the videos, like, bro, anybody who do LSD, the first song they say they gonna pick a ASAP Rocky. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? And
valid.
LSD is one of the most visually appealing drugs. Like it's for a reason that he garnered that audience.
So dive into that a little bit. You were talking about before the episode about when you going through something and you happen to be in a different mental zone, whether it's through LSD or through some other things, and as long as you look at yourself in the mirror, you look fly and you feel good. But let's not dive into the fashion yet, but let's dive into, do you think, whatever you're comfortable sharing, what psychedelics
Everything.
have you explored? And then let's talk about why you personally made the decision to explore. We don't have to dive into every single one if there's like 10, but we can dive into whatever one you wanted to talk about and why you decided to explore that.
Man, it's crazy because, I've been, I was straight edge for so long, for real, because my mom was an addict. Like, she got caught up in a crack epidemic, like, which was really a sad story. If y'all really want to, see some really gritty, grimy part of history, go look at, the crack epidemic because, imagine one day everybody around come in the hood and they got this thing. They got this, because back then, it wasn't drugs, for real. So it wasn't like niggas knew the real problems that was coming with this shit. It's like somebody brought them a soda one day and was like, this shit'll make you happy. This shit'll turn you up. And then now, the police kicking in your door, taking your family away, all type of shit. You just got some money for the first time in your life, all type of shit. So I was really hesitant about it, but I don't know what called me to shrooms. I cannot remember what called me to taking psychedelics, but I just knew that in my heart it was something that I wanted to do. It was a feeling. It was something that was just sat there, and I felt like I watered it so long that I remember being like 18, and I sat on Westport, and I was just looking for every white person that might have. I was looking for some Wookiees. I was looking for some Wookiees on Westport, looking for some shrooms. I looked for some shrooms. I swear to God, and the whole time, and then I finally met one dude. So, yeah, I got some shrooms. We hung out with this homeless dude all day. He never got no shrooms, but we hung out with this homeless dude, and he told me I can get you some DMT, and that's how I might know what DMT was. And then I said, "Nah, I'm cool." And then I see this homeless dude in the corner one time. And he just sleep. Like, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, hey, you cool? He like, hey, I'm cool. He was just tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had found him some psychedelics or whatever in the alley and just did them right there. Like, he was cool. But my very first time, I ended up going to New York.
Quick shout out to that homeless dude, wherever you at right now. First off, I hope you living good.
Yeah.
And if you find the homeless lifestyle to be living good, I hope you feeling good. Let's start there, because you just shared a memory that it sounded like was a good memory in your head. So people, and I feel like I might be, this is what people would call reaching, but I'm going to reach and say that sometimes people feel like certain people don't have an impact on the world. They'll just look at a homeless person and just be like, you being worthless or whatever, you just out there begging. But little do they know that, and sure, you can make your own opinions about, oh, well, they were 18, he shouldn't have been, whatever. Look, he made you have an interesting story to tell it in your life. That's a memory that you associate with positivity or something that you care about in terms of psychedelics as an original memory. So he has some sort of positive impact on you specifically. And I think that's cool, especially for somebody who people would not look at twice.
Every homeless person I have a conversation with reveal themselves to me to be God. In some form or fashion. It be in their words. It'd be that coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence, but every homeless person I talk to me directly to my spirit. And it's maybe because they surrender so much. Like, you surrender beyond so many judgments, you only can, flow like that. Every homeless person I talk to, I got so many. I be at McDonald's a lot sometimes. It's easy to write at McDonald's. They got Wi-Fi, it's cool, And being a writer is cool to be somewhere where you can hear a variety of conversations, So I be at McDonald's and I met a homeless pastor, and it's just crazy because I believe that Jesus would be the archetype of the soul, right? I think that all souls are gonna go through their own version of what Jesus went through in some form or fashion. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've been charting my life. All of my art is me explaining and expressing that, right? And I had got to a part where I felt like I was on a cross, right? And that's just how I felt. Like I was going through, one of them scenarios in my mind. It was a storm, and my imagination, that's what, it was. And I was on that spot. And then the moment my day got better, I met this homeless pastor at McDonald's, and I asked him what he was reading. He said, I'm reading Acts 1. I'm like, what's it about? He said, it's about after Jesus got off the cross. It's about, his after he rose from the tomb and he had his rainbow body and his light body, and then he blossomed and glimmered, and what he did for those 40 days, and he rose from the Mount Olive and everything. And I'm like, I hope that's where I'm at in my destiny, in my spirit. But it was cool because whenever I was in St. Louis last month, and I was hungry. You know what I'm saying? I had no money. I was hungry, and then I heard some singing, a choir coming from under the studio I was at. So then I walked in. They had pizza there and stuff. And then the dude I was with was like, he's like, fuck it, I'm finna steal the pizza. He took some pizza and ran out. I heard the song. It was Jesus, will you remember me when you reach your kingdom? It's one of my favorite scriptures. It's what the thief said to Jesus when he was on the cross. So it was crazy that they were singing that because my friend, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
just stole that pizza. And now I was thinking about taking some pizza too, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to wait for the service to get over and ask. And I sat down and I waited. It wasn't last month. It was around Easter time. That's how I remember. I sat down. I sat down and I just listened to them sing this most pretty song. I got it on my phone too because I was gonna sample it. It was like they were singing this pretty song, and then soon as they was done, this white lady walked up to me and she wrote me a note. And then she wrote me a note, and it was a description, a detailed description of a timeline of what happened when Jesus got on the cross, he died, and then such and such. It was so cool. So I felt like, you know what I'm saying?
Did you get some pizza?
That, huh?
Did you get some pizza at the end?
Yeah, I got some pizza. I got a lot of pizza. I took some pizza. I took a box of pizza back up and gave it to them. Man.
That's fire.
Like,
that's fire.
Yeah.
No, that's fire.
It was one more thing that I wanted to say on this story that mattered. But when it come back, it'll come back.
Absolutely. So let's dial it back to DMT. First time psychedelics.
Yeah.
Met the homeless dude. He didn't have nothing for you. Moving forward from there.
So then I went to New York. Jasmine Mans, which is a phenomenal poet. If y'all ever go look her up, her name is Jasmine Mans. She do this song, like this poem called Kanye West's Ex-Girlfriend. Like, so cool. Jasmine Mans. She had this class she taught social media and marketing back in like 2018, 2019. I went out there and took it with her. My friend George Watsky let me stay at his house while I was taking classes in New York. He a rapper. He on tour right now. He just finished the tour from Europe. George Watsky cool as fuck. But the whole time I was in New York, I was looking for shrooms. Couldn't find them. Then I was leaving, finna get on the airport. My friend George was like, you looking for shrooms? Pull out this big jar of shrooms that he had. And he like, yeah, I love shrooms. Like, you could have asked me for them. So then he ended up low-key mailing me some and the mail with a wig and a shirt. And then I took them with my friends in the hood for the first time. And the first time when we took them, I swear on everything I love, I looked at my friends and they started aging. They started going into old man right in front of my eyes.
Oh, Lord.
And it was scary. And like I said, this is one of my favorite quotes. God had the best things on the other side of fear, so I never let my fear stop me from having a good time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm sitting here watching my friends age, and I realized that it was just projecting my fear of my morality, of me dying outwardly. Mm-hmm. So as it was leaving me, I'm seeing it leave me in the projection of what is manifesting in the physical. Yeah. But after that, I did see myself without, my fear of my morality. Like, I'm not really, I wouldn't say I'm scared of death. I'm really got more of I'm intrigued from a distance. You know how Jay-Z said, y'all be flirting with death, I'll be winking through a scope. Yeah. I'm winking through the scope. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on none of that. But that's my first time doing shrooms. Then one time, my very first time doing LSD, I remember I was on the plaza and we kicked it at the Nelson Academy Museum all day, and I remember I was sitting in the grass before you take LSD, and then you think that nothing will happen. You can't possibly fathom the beauty that you've been experienced. No matter what people tell you, you never can put it into words because it's beyond your mind. It's beyond your thoughts or whatever. So I'm sitting in the grass. Now all of a sudden there's this blue light in the distance. And I don't know what changed about the blue light, but it started getting so pretty. Something was in that blue that made me feel warm. It made me feel sweet on the inside. It made me feel like honey was caressing through whatever this thing is in the back of my neck, Mm-hmm. Like, it felt so good, and that's how I knew it would start. And then we walked into Winstead's, and Winstead's got the neon light. So then I tried to eat this burger, and I'm like, I knew the moment I ate that burger, I knew what form this cow was raised on. I know the cow family. I was like, I'm not eating this. I did not want to eat the burger. I felt like this burger, you know what I'm saying? So then I remember running up. I remember after that, realizing that it finally hit and I'm in a new world. It felt like I was, I would see some things happen and then it'd happen. So like a car would drive by, then a car would drive by. I remember one time my cousin started dancing because it was like 6 of us who all did it. He started dancing. And as he was dancing, the stars in the sky was raining down. And he had trails in his hands, so every dance move kind of looked like. Yeah. And we was at the Nelson, so Nelson got all those art exhibits outside. Yeah. So we got a chance to just walk around in the night. You know what I'm saying? I played a song off my phone, Kanye West. I could see the color of the music. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like the music was coming off the building. Like the building had turned into a big speaker, and it just, I never heard music like I heard music off psychedelics, like shrooms and LSD. Hearing music, oh my God. It's like stepping into a song. Like the music be around you. It's the most craziest thing.
So I have like 3 questions off of that.
Okay, I got one more after that.
Oh yeah. Keep going. I think I can remember the questions.
All right,
keep
bet.
going.
And then so I did ketamine too one time, and it's another psychedelic, but it just made me be lucid in my dreams. So
you took it before sleep? Is that what you mean?
I took it and then I laid in my bed because I didn't know what was gonna happen. Yeah. I took it and laid in my bed, and as I laid in my bed, I was woke in my dreams. So I was in the dreamscape, but I could do whatever I want. Like I was playing Fortnite in my dreams. Like could just create
great
stuff.
Visual, right?
Yeah. But and then there's one psychedelic that if you get to do it, you basically a shaman. You know what I'm saying? It's called DMT. It's the chemical you release when you die, when you dream, and when you born.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know who gave me DMT for the first time? Eli.
I can believe that.
Yeah. One time we was mad at each other, and he was my best friend at this time. He's my mentor. He's my best friend. We was mad at each other, and he knew I wanted to do DMT. It was my life goal. And then one day he hit me up. He said, "I got some DMT." I ran over to his house.
You literally jogged?
Yeah. He lived like 6-7 blocks away from where I was, so I ran. Really, I'm like, oh shit! It's DMT. It's like the God, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
for individuals who are interested in psychedelics, DMT might be perceived as like the godfather of psychedelics. Okay. See, I'm totally ignorant about this world, so thank you for.
Even the Wookiees would be like DMT, fuck nah. You know what I'm saying? Like even the people you think the most psychedelic people are scared to do DMT, because it come with this abrasive ego death. But I'm gonna talk to you about that though. So I know that they say DMT, you take it and it feel like you die. So I'm not really a smoker at this point. I don't smoke weed, but I want to do this DMT. So I had to hit it in a bong. It come in like you can get it out. You can abstract it out of anything. They usually get it out of carrots. So you extract it out of carrots and then you crystallize it or whatever, and then you put it in the bong. You put some weed over it, then you smoke it, so you won't burn the crystals.
Gotcha.
I'm teaching you how to.
To a newbie, this just sound like you, and then not even trying to make a joke, but I was just like, you said crystallize. Wait a minute.
But look, acids, it's like chemistry.
Yes.
So crystallizing, when you play with chemicals, that's just
what's going
one thing you gotta do. Yeah,
right.
But I'm not even a smoker at this point. So the first time I tried to hit it, out of it was like a weed bong, but it had a vaporizer on it. I tried to hit it. It burnt my chest so much. So that like being in fear and being on psychedelics seemed like not the good mix. So then I lay back, because they say you lay back and then you shoot out of your body. So the moment I lay back, I close my eyes and there's this giant mandala behind my eyes. Like some Doctor Strange shit. It was before Doctor Strange even came out though. But that's how it looked, like some big mandala behind my eyes, and it scared me. I opened my eyes, I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And when I opened my eyes, the whole room was cartoon. Everybody in there was cartoon characters. The paint, everything was made out of cartoons. I said, oh shit. And then I watched everybody else do it, and they had the most beautiful time. People said they saw their grandparents. Like I'm like, oh shit. Like I'm letting my fear get in the way of trying to. So I'm like, fuck it. I got some water next to me. Then I took it. They said you're supposed to hit it 3 times. They said past the second time, your whole body gonna be screaming, no, don't do it, but you gotta do it. So I hit it 1 time, hit it 2 times, then the 3rd time I hit it 3 times, hit it 4 times. And then when I was still hitting it, I felt that pain in my chest. Eli grabbed the bong from me. He hit it with me too. So then now we both,
feeling whatever you feeling, right?
And they say it only lasts 10 minutes. So that was something that was cool to me. So this time, I end up laying back, closing my eyes. Then Mandala came again. This time I got scared. Again, so I opened my eyes. But this time I had took so much, it didn't matter. I opened my eyes, and then there was that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that pattern had always been there, but I just hadn't the awareness to really see it. And then it started breaking apart. The whole room, everything. And then eventually I was in this all black, I felt like I was in outer space. And I was in one of those balls that you open up.
Yeah.
But it was made out of white. So it was one of those balls and it was made out of white. And there was a crowd, but there was no forms. I realized that I was on stage and we was playing
You were on
music.
stage, but there were no human forms.
It was like I was a guest at a club and some type of other, and it felt so familiar. It felt like that feeling of home when I was asking you, was you looking for it? I felt it then. Like, oh, I know this. And there was this voice from nowhere saying, like, this is where you were when you were born. This is where you go after you die. So just know that everything that's in your life, you chose it. So just remember that no matter when every hard times, remember you chose this life. So just be cool or whatever. And then I remember feeling this peace come over me. But before all that happened, I remember dying. You hear me? I remember taking it and then feeling that pain in my chest. And all of a sudden, I felt like it was over there. And then further away, I was drinking the water, but I felt like I was, it was somewhere away from where I was. It wasn't happening to me. It was happening to my body. That was interesting, you know what I'm saying? And then I start seeing all these things like, oh shit, I'm dying. This is what I knew. That's the only thing that my brain could comprehend. And then as I was dying, I realized that I started getting scared. But then I realized that with my body dying, that fear died too. So now I was in a level beyond even the fear that my body could encapsulate. You know what I'm saying? And after that, just peace ran over me. I was playing this song by Mariah Carey called Fantasy. You know that song?
No, I don't. But
it's like sweet, sweet fantasy, baby.
Yes.
You know what's crazy? Return of the Mac sample that song.
Yes, that's the only reason why I knew it. I played it in a group fitness class the other day. Yeah.
That was the #1 song on the charts when I was born.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, if I'm gonna have this spiritual experience,
doing the
you
numbers
know
for
what I'm
the
saying? Like 1995.
Got you.
Yeah. So that was the #1 song on the charts when I was born. So I played that on my first DMT trip, and it started seeming like the song was talking about my trip. Like she was guiding me through it. I swear to God, like it was one of the most beautiful experiences.
So if you met Mariah Carey tomorrow, what do you think you would say?
I got a lot of questions for Mariah Carey. I gotta ask you a question first. Do you think she can say nigga? if you was outside and you saw Mariah Carey say nigga, would it how would you feel? Because I see her and I'm like, I think Mariah Carey a nigga. You know what I'm saying? But then I see her and then she just look like she can't say nigga. So how would you feel if you saw Mariah Carey?
I would feel uncomfortable if I heard her say that. I wouldn't check her.
Yeah.
But I would feel uncomfortable, and if she continued to use it in a sentence, I would feel uncomfortable enough to leave the room.
Okay.
To like step out of that uncomfortability.
I think she black though. I think Mariah Carey.
Is she black though? Like biologically? Interesting.
I think Mariah Carey black.
Okay.
I thought that was just culture. If she not, then maybe that's just me. Mariah Carey.
You might be right. I can't see Nick Cannon. Never mind. Anyways.
Oh God,
we're gonna skip over that.
Yeah,
but
you know, when they talk about the greatest white singers of all time, who do they mention?
Do they say Mariah Carey?
They don't say Mariah Carey. They say like
Taylor Swift.
They don't. Who have you ever heard say Taylor Swift? You heard somebody say Taylor Swift?
I'm not gonna lie to you, and with respect.
Tina Marie.
Tina who?
Tina Marie. You heard Tina Marie?
She sound black.
Yeah, that's why my mama say she the coldest white bitch ever to ever touch a mic. Tina Marie. She said.
Yeah, I don't know. With respect, and I'm sure the guests will let me know. I don't know any white women singers.
Oh, for real?
Nah. Except for Mariah Carey.
What about the Dream? You ever heard that? You ever heard?
It's Mariah Carey. Why'd you have to ask me that? I'm distraught right now.
That song Dreams, but I can't remember their name right now. But
you know, my dad actually watched my podcast. So Dad, my dad's white, so I feel like he would notice the answer to this. And he was born in the 40s where there was a lot more white singers, I feel like, that were popular back then. So Dad, please update me on this when you watch this. Please tell me who any white singers you know.
You like Robin Thicke?
I love Robin Thicke.
He white, right?
Yeah, but that's but I'm saying from like I said white women singers. I don't know.
Gina Marie and Robin Thicke, I think they get kind of the same
vibe.
They come from the same place.
Okay, then I would like Tina. The same type of white.
You know.
I got you. I respect it. Also, I haven't seen nobody wear these Reeboks.
Oh,
Reebok.
My
don't
ankles
worry.
are ashy,
It's
right?
okay. They can't see it, but ladies and gentlemen, he's wearing some Reeboks. I've actually never seen somebody wear ever.
Hey, look.
It's random, but like I know these Reeboks too. Like I know them,
Okay.
but I've never seen anybody wear them. But it's actually perfect though, because you really are only ashy at the ankles.
Yeah,
like everything else is moisturized.
Because I was putting on lotion.
But you didn't get that far down.
Look, this how y'all know I'm really a real nigga. Because how many people y'all know genuinely just gonna get on the podcast and talk about ashy ankles? I'm gonna do that because I want y'all to know I was really in the streets playing in the fire hydrants. I ain't ashamed of my ass. Yeah, that's proof I'm a phoenix.
Wait, hold up. What is fire hydrants got to do with ashiness?
Because you go out in the summertime, somebody get a monkey wrench. It's this dude named Toke. He used to ride a bike around my hood. He got shot in his toe, so he used to limp. But he always kept a monkey wrench. So whenever it get hot, he open up the fire hydrant so all the kids can play in the fire hydrant. And then you be ashy. And then you might scrape on the street. You know what I'm saying?
This might be my favorite podcast already. I'm not gonna lie.
You scrape your head on the feet, you be ashy. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyways,
Toke. I still be seeing Toke around the hood all the time.
Well, I hope he's living, or she.
She. Yeah. It be
oh,
crazy.
it's a she?
It's a he.
Oh, it's a he. All right.
It be crazy how long people be lasting. Like, I thought Toke was my grandpa age. My grandpa didn't pass. Rest in peace to my grandpa. And Toke's still alive. But I was a kid. I was a baby when Toke was my grandpa age. So I don't be knowing what be going on. Like, Tom really don't be keeping his words.
That's what I was wondering when you was talking about technologies from back in the day. I was like, is he born in 72 and just look like he 24? I don't know, but it was crazy. I do want to dial back to something before I forget it. So you were talking about you were listening to Kanye West while on LSD. Mm-hmm. There's only really two things I remember about my questions, but it's okay.
Oh, my bad. I forget
you good? The point is to continue the conversation, not to remember questions. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So did you develop a stronger affinity for Kanye West as an artist based off that being your first LSD experience and Kanye playing at that time? Would you say like that developed a strong relationship because you saw his music in a new light and a new experience, or do you feel like Kanye just Kanye?
I always loved Kanye West.
Okay.
I got an uncle. He's schizophrenic. Whenever I lived at the lowest point in my life, I lived with my uncle. He was schizophrenic, and we kind of lived in like a trap house or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he put me on Kanye West. He used to play music all the time, 24/7 in his room, and he played Jesus Walk for me for the first time. So back then, you know what I'm saying?
That's a memory.
Oh God, yeah. So I love Kanye West, but LSD did put me on a Travis Scott. I heard Birds in the Trap for the first time on LSD. Oh my God, Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight. Oh my God, on LSD. Best song, best album ever.
I feel like Travis Scott and A$AP Rocky fans is like the same group of people. You tell me if you right, because it sounds like you a fan of both of those artists. Not that I'm not a fan, but I'm not a fan. If that makes sense, I respect them as individuals, but I don't listen to their music.
Oh yeah,
does that make sense? Yeah. So
why do you like music?
Why do I like music is a great question, but first,
The podcast about me.
The second follow-up question was those friends, the 6 friends that you was with on that day. Would you say that helped develop a stronger relationship? The reason I'm asking these questions is to see, like, I know you shared some interesting stories about your times on psychedelics, but would you say that psychedelics created some of the most impactful moments or impactful relationships for you, or does it play that type of role? Is it just a role of like psychedelics plays the psychedelic role, or does it play a role outside of it just being a psychedelic in that experience? Like, did you build stronger relationships with those 6 people and now you feel super close to them? Did you develop a stronger affinity for music because you saw it in a new light because your brain was in a different world? So does that question make sense?
It makes 100% sense. I think that it's some stuff they say is unexplainable, and I'm kind of doing you a disservice because I'm such a good poet. So I'm kind of explaining some of the unexplainable when some of these can be like spoilers for a movie. You know what I'm saying? I think that all drugs get you high. You know what I'm saying? But what getting high is breaking down some biological, some resistance that we didn't have as humans from the beginning. So LSD take down some blockages in your brain that you've been having from eons that you might not even remember. So it's really getting you a chance to see what the truth is. Instead of you really, you know what I'm saying? Because if you really think about it, like all uppers get you, do something to you. It's the same high. You know what I'm saying? Like downers do something to you. It's all the same thing. They just get you. It just from a different angle. It's people like they journey to the high more.
So
You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say is that LSD and psychedelics, when you in a group, sometimes you realize that y'all all one. And it's loving somebody like yourself outside of yourself is one of the most beautiful things you do. But it comes to a point where you see it. And not as it being a concept, but as it being in theory. Like I done sat an hour one time and had a conversation with somebody like this, and we were saying the exact same thing at the exact same time off LSD. It was my best friend, my second manager named Billy. We did LSD for the first time, and he was real strict about never doing drugs, but we did LSD one time, and it was the happiest I ever seen him in his life. You know what I'm saying? He was the most emo, gothic person. And to that day, we did LSD. And he was the most happiest person. He said for the whole night, he seen firecrackers exploding in the sky. And it was the universe saying to him that he was happy. But we talked. Like, we would have ideals. And each ideal would hit us at the exact same time to the point where we was talking at the exact same time. And it's like, merging spirits with somebody is definitely going to make y'all close for eternity. You know? Like,
I can respect that.
I got brothers and sisters that were born through a different type of love, like because that's what LSD and shrooms is, you know, like it open your heart up to a different level of love. Like I don't think it's nobody I can't love. Oh God, like that's my superpower. Like I got a heart so big that, you know, I can love somebody who did the worst thing in the world to me.
And that made me want to dive into that, but I do have one more question on the topic of psychedelics and just drugs in general. So you were mentioning how they all have different, I guess what would be would you say there's a difference between drugs that are more looked at from a negative? For example, the past 10 years, maybe definitely in the past like 3 to 5, psychedelics has been popularized almost as like straight up like a recreational thing to do, to like a healing type of vibe, which, you know, I can't speak to it because I don't research that enough. But what I will say is it's become more popular mainstream. You get what I'm saying? So for non-mainstream drugs that are not maybe so openly accepted, coke,
Alcohol,
cigarettes.
Yeah, we talking about real drugs.
Methamphetamine.
I think that ain't accepted. Accepted?
Well, no, I'm saying those four. Oh, my bad. I'm saying, sorry, you was throwing them in, so I was going with them, but no, like for example, cocaine.
I'm like, yeah, just
no,
allow some meth.
Nah, so I'm saying from the reverse, like methamphetamines, cocaine, and like let's say, although this is kind of in the same vein, but crack cocaine, like these are drugs that are not so, you know, like oh that's cool. Yeah. Versus like LSD. Oh shit, did you try LSD? Nobody finna be out here like, oh shit, did you try methamphetamines? In case you live in Independence. But
in case you live in Independence.
But the reason I'm asking this question is, how do you think about those drugs? Being that you are so openly accepting to some of these categorized as psychedelics, but at the end of the day, drugs. You know what I'm saying? How do you? Because I'm straight edge, so that's what I'm asking. So you understand the perspective I'm asking from. I'm asking from a straight edge. I would recommend everyone stay away from everything, even though I love the stories you're sharing. But like, just me personally. So how do you think about some of the non-accepted drugs, if that makes sense, like methamphetamine, some of these other things?
I can say a lot about that. My first thing I want to say is I'm more into plant medicine than I am into drugs. Drugs is just like a broad term to like an umbrella term. You know what I'm saying? But like, what's the difference between eating some shrooms? Because they grow in the ground. It ain't like somebody is taking these shrooms and like, I'm putting this in it, I'm putting it in it. These are naturally growing plants that grow in the ground that people are eating. You know what I'm saying? Like shrooms, like LSD come from a plant called ergot. DMT, you get it from carrots. You get what I'm saying? I fuck with weed. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember weed going from just the munchies and giggly to now, like, you know, disassociate. And, like, I'm in this whole nother trance in my mind. Like, you know, like, I don't trust nothing the government put their hands on. And that's the same with like cocaine, crack cocaine. The government did that. I seen what they did to my mom. You know what I'm saying? Methamphetamine, like that's something that the government really got to figure out now. You know, like they said China's sneaking in fentanyl. They replacing all the drugs that they having with fentanyl, and people really dying. Like we've been hearing about overdoses, but fentanyl coming in now, we hear about them all the time from people young, from people who don't really be on that. So I think that, you know, I don't think the government should be able to tell me what I can and cannot put in my body. That's the honest to God truth of my stance on drugs. I don't think the government should be able to be in my house. You know what I'm saying? Tell me I can't do this. I understand rules and regulations and stuff like that, but when it comes to what I'm consuming, I don't think that's fair. I think that the most, you know, progressive statement on drugs is that I think they should legalize all of them. You know what I'm saying? Because having somebody accountable for what's going on would do a lot of stuff. Because cigarettes bad, they still let people take cigarettes. They taking cancer or whatever, but they got regulations like you accidentally ain't gonna smoke a cigarette that got fentanyl in it. But if they had a market for meth instead of just some random nigga, then a lot of the overdose shit probably get cut down.
Right.
You can't stop niggas from doing it, but you can make it safer for niggas because, you know, like, drugs ain't always because some nigga just fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I realize some people, drugs can usually be a substitute for a medicine that some people can't really, you know, afford.
Access, right.
Yeah. So
interesting
it all depends.
perspective.
So we can't say it's always XO. No matter what, it's always drugs. Like I remember being in New York. I snuck into LSD with these 3 girls, but we was in a sober house. I wasn't there because I did it, but they lived in a sober house. You know what I'm saying? So we had to sneak and do LSD. And then the person who was like in charge of the sober house came home. So I ended up leaving with her and like going bike riding through New York on LSD. You know what I'm saying? And I realized that Brooklyn is tropical. Like it got palm trees in Brooklyn. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear the train go by and it sounds like a West Side Gun song finna play. Like you realize that they sampling the environment in the music. You know what I'm saying? Like not blatantly, but it's in there. Like the vibe it was so cool. Like we rolled through so many different parts, you know what I'm saying? And in New York, they ain't got bike lanes. So I'm high as fuck driving this motorized bicycle through New York like a car, but I'm on LSD, so I don't even know how I'm riding a bike in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's the most complicated thing in my heart, but I'm following this white girl into wherever, and she was cool, but we got home, and she convinced me that sober life is the best life. She used to be hooked on weed a lot and caffeine and coke, but she went to rehab in Hawaii because her parents had money. So now she live a sober life, and that's what she on right now. And so I'm like, she showed me these books by Russell Crowe and a lot of people who I really fuck with. And then we get upstairs, and then she said, "Oh, you want to see my pill jar?" And then she take like from her psychiatrist drugs that, you know what I'm saying, like 6 a day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's still drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're getting them from somebody else, but that's still drugs. Like, how can you really claim that's a sober lifestyle?
So would you say maybe it's going down the right, like say they did legalize all drugs, would you say it's more going down the route of information? Like in terms of, yes, you ain't lying.
Portland did. Decriminalize is different.
Decriminalize a lot, yeah. But like, it's more around information, like dishing out information, for example, like educating people about how these drugs work. Because really, I guess, and I'm sure there's going to be some better arguments like from people who watch this podcast, but I'm sure the difference is in terms of the government or quote unquote pharmaceutical companies giving out drugs is that they spent 5 years studying the drug and what it does.
I see. Think about lean. You know what I'm saying? Lean promethazine come from the pharmacy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the opioid crisis in the country right now is from the pharmacy. So who do we really trust? You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna trust our neighborhood weed man who been bringing us this plant for forever. You know what I'm saying? Been kind of dealing with anger issues in the community, hunger issues in the community. You know what I'm saying? I think that mushrooms might be a step up from that. It might be healing people on a more of a spiritual level, which I've seen it done. I don't say nothing that I can't vouch for on my own. Right? Yeah. Did I turn this off earlier?
I hope not, cause low-key I heard them click. I heard it click, but we gonna keep it rocking. We gonna keep it rocking.
I didn't been with some of the most gangster niggas. They didn't try LSD with me for the first time. Turned into the most softest. Not soft like they ain't gonna be
I got what
about
you're
it,
saying, yeah.
but like looking into the stars,
Intuitive.
crying.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like this is beautiful. This moment is beautiful. Nothing else. I don't need nothing else for it to be beautiful right now. That's the type of stuff that you get when you really, and I think that I might be a shaman too. So I think I might be really good at guiding people through, like, instead of people just like, fuck, we finna go to the club, drink this motherfucking liquor. I'm like, y'all wanna come to my living room? I got some shrooms. We can watch some lectures that I think is cool. Here's some cool ass songs. Show music to y'all in a new way y'all ain't never heard it before. You know what I'm saying? Watch some music videos. Like I didn't watch the same music video 70 times. Not for no other reason than it was so interesting. SZA and Travis Scott got this song called like I need. Yeah, you know that song? I watched that video like 70 times, and every time I watched that video it meant something different. You know what I'm saying? Like it be moments like that. Like, like I went to Vegas, did LSD there. Swear to God, the sun turned off. I was outside. I walked into In-N-Out. It just started.
Y'all gotta understand, the reason I be laughing is because, again, I'm like straight edge. So all this talk is new to me.
A lot of people can't talk like this.
Yeah. Well, that too. You also are a special individual that can speak it a certain way. So that's one reason I'm laughing. But it's also like, I'm just cracking up because I'm like, I don't know what the hell he means, but it sounded good. It sounded like I know what you mean, but that's crazy. The sun turned off.
I swear. Look, so this is what happened. From my perspective, you know what I'm saying? I realized that what if I live on my own by myself? My perspective would be the only one matter. So even if I go crazy, if I go crazy right now and see a dragon, it only matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as I don't try to make you think that whatever I see matter, that's being in the community. So I allow myself to experience whatever without putting judgment to it. But I swear to God, I was sitting there out there, and then I looked up in the sun, and then it went, zoom. Then it seemed like for a second the sun went off, then it came back on real fast. I said, what the fuck? Because look, whenever you take psychedelics, it don't be like you like drunk, like or whatever. It's like you sober, but the drugs take you to another reality. So the walls look different, but you still you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if the wall, I ain't never in my life seen something like an elf run up on me or a dragon run up on me and be like, hey, what's up? Nothing. I ain't never seen nothing talk or whatever. I seen the patterns in the walls, but it's more about what's being in your mind. I didn't see, like, the first time I ever seen Ganesh, the Indian, the blue elephant guy.
Yeah.
So LSD, I didn't know who he was at first. I didn't, but I seen this beautiful blue elephant. You know what I'm saying? And it stuck with me so crisp, so clear. I seen it better than I see life. You know what I'm saying? Right there in my mind's eye. And I'm like, shit like that be happening. Like, it really be like, if you ever really want to go deeply within, I think shrooms is the best way to do it. It's a plant, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can put it on a sandwich.
You can put it on a sandwich. Whoa. I believe you. I'm just saying, it's new to me, man. It's new to me. So I
always say, do your own research on it. And then, like, they say that that's the number one cure for depression. So if you truly ever know somebody who's going to do depression, like...
But do it with a shaman. Do it with somebody you really trust.
I think you the shaman. I think that...
I'm only saying what I say because I done had some personal experiences where, not myself, but where people close to me tried psychedelics on their own type of time with the wrong people around, with the wrong situation, and it done got them in a different situation now that may not be the best for it. Well,
I don't know.
It wasn't the best for a little bit, until they had to reform themselves.
I think it goes. It's more spiritual than y'all think it is. I think that it depends on the gene pool and your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people can't confront their ancestors right now because some people's ancestors were monsters. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So once you start dealing with those energies and stuff, some people got more welcoming ancestors. That's going, you know what I'm saying? And what I mean by monsters is, I don't mean to condemn nobody. I know what's going on, and I believe that we all on this. It's just the same size of a coin, you know what I'm saying? But some people ancestors don't meet eye to eye. We got different beliefs. Some people, like, it took me a long time to really connect because I'm feminine. I come from a very masculine thing, but I had to really prove myself in my mind, in my heart, and in my spirit, and in my world that I was a man in order to be at balance.
Yeah.
In order to not go off the wall when something go wrong while I'm tripping, because that's what it usually be. A lot of people can't really, once some shit go left, you gotta be knowing how to always center yourself. Like it's your mind, like
Take control.
Mind, it's yours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you really learn that by like it's more about there's ways to experience different levels of consciousness without taking drugs. I know breathing techniques.
For sure, right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
breathing techniques, meditation, certain styles of exercise, certain types of prayer, which is really just meditation at the end of the day. So I definitely understand that. And, ladies and gentlemen.
But don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah, like why? I think you beautiful. I think that my favorite state is sobriety. I like being sober more than anything. Like, that's the truth. Like, there's a certain level of comfort, that level of home that I get when I ain't under the influence of nothing. But when it comes, I want to be like Steve Jobs. I realize that there's a realm out there that we can't even barely perceive, and I want to be the one who adventure into that realm, which feel like pure love whenever I'm there. You know what I'm saying? And bring some of that love back, try to experience it, put it in my art, put it in my music, you know what I'm saying? Put it in my conversations, in my aura, in my vibe. You see, I feel tranquil. I feel like, shrooms was one of my teachers in this lifetime. Like, I read this book called The Sacred Cross in the Shrooms. And do you know what the Dead Sea Scrolls is?
Mm-mm.
So the Dead Sea Scrolls is whenever like the Inquisition was happening and stuff, and Christians was going around, and they was like either convert for Christianity or die. It was some books they deemed not worthy to be in the Bible,
right.
Like Mary Magdalene and stuff like that. Like those are the Dead Sea Scrolls. They end up hiding them in some cave somewhere. Some man in like 1980s, 1970s, he found these old scrolls. They were in a dead language, so he knew the language, so he was the one they taught in order to translate it. He translated it for him, but also he wrote this book called The Sacred Shrooms and the Cross. And in that book, he say that he believed that Christianity was an early shroom fertility cult. He believed that early Christians believed that through shrooms, you could access the kingdom of heaven. They believed that, and he got his proof. He had a whole book that you can just go and read, and you don't gotta believe him, but it's interesting to do stuff like that.
It's interesting to introduce yourself to new concepts, theories, thoughts. And you decide for yourself whether you believe it or not.
Right. It's important, and it's not
exactly.
And they say one thing they say in the book. They say that humans believe that there was a giant phallus in the sky, and when it rained, that was like God coming. So they believe that it was a giant dick in the sky. They call shrooms, they call penis envy shrooms because they kind of look like, so that's the son of God. Shroom is the son of God. You know what I'm saying? Like. You know what I'm saying? Little stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of intriguing things that you are saying, and I like your energy and your voice. It makes me want to do one of those Joe Rogan 5-hour podcasts with you. But in the name of time, we do have to cut this one short.
Oh, dang,
but trust me, we about to run back a part 2 within a week or 2. We're gonna have to schedule something because there's like 30 other things we wanted to talk about from poetry to where you grew up and how that impact. There's just so many other things.
All weaved in.
It did in its own way. But trust me, as an individual, you deserve more than 45 minutes. Trust that. Yeah, there's a lot more. There's a lot more that we need to dive into. But I'm not gonna lie, you got me thinking, and that is the purpose of these conversations, to not only get the audience to think, but for me to think, and for you to allow yourself to explore your thoughts and experiences. So I really appreciate you making time today, ladies and gentlemen. He is gonna be back for a part 2. I promise you, within a week. This is probably gonna be like a part 1 one Friday, a part 2 the next Friday. With my guy Unique right now. We didn't even say your name today.
We didn't, yeah, but
we didn't.
I like it's just. Your name is just a vibration. It's just a boom, 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 boom. Unique. You know what I'm saying? It's pointing to something for real. And my body don't even point to that as good as my words do. So,
I want you to do a poem on the next one. What I want you to do right now is you posted a Instagram story, I believe yesterday or the day before, speaking out to your community. You were looking for I
Oh,
believe some
yeah.
assistance or some.
Yeah.
I didn't read all of it. I ain't gonna lie to you. So,
and that's
but
cool,
you was
too.
looking for something. So I was maybe not that I have no huge audience or anything, but I was like maybe if you want to kind of repeat what you said there, just like how the audience or people in the audience or somebody that might listen might be able to be of assistance to you, so y'all can like help each other out in some way or help you out. It's okay to just be, to ask for whatever you need. So, in the name of what you posted on your IG store, I'd love for you to just say what would be helpful for you, for the audience, anybody who watches this, if they have a connection to this type of person or they come from this type of background, how they could be of assistance to you. And we'll put that at the beginning of the episode before we get into the rest of this conversation.
Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Unique, and I'm looking for other unique people who have an eye for something that they can't really describe. I want to be able to see so many things. Boom. I was sitting down, and I was writing a story, and then my partner looked at me. She said, you want to know my favorite story is? A story where there's multiple heroes. And I want more heroes. I don't want to just make this life about me. I don't want to look back 60 years and just be able to look at my own successes. I want to be able to be there with other people. So if you shoot videos, if no matter what it is, I swear to God, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to integrate it. I'm trying to make a community where we can fully express ourselves and outwardly express ourselves. And even if you got to do some performing arts, even if you want to get on stage and stare into my eyes for 30 minutes, I am down. If that'll be something that'll push your brand forward and your ideas forward, I'm down. I just want you to be a part of something that I know is special, something I know that's going to change the world.
I love that. And ladies and gentlemen, I will plug Unique's socials. Some of his old videos of him doing some poetry. Okay. I'm gonna plug a few things in the bio below in the YouTube description, and then on all podcast listening platforms. Again, there will be a part 2. So matter of fact, let's just guarantee that. Look out for that this following Friday. So we'll have this episode which comes out today, Friday, whatever day Friday is when this actual video comes out, whether it's next Friday or literally tonight or literally next Friday, whatever it is.
I hope tonight.
Man, hopefully tonight.
Hopefully tonight.
If it comes out tonight, look out for part 2 next Friday. If it comes out next Friday, look for part 2 2 Fridays from now. Let me shut up. This is your boy. I wasn't saying shut up to you, by the way. I was saying
no,
let
I
me shut up.
Feel that. I didn't even feel that. I never felt it.
Nah. It's your boy CIZZ Live Action, back at it again and signing out once again from another episode of the Voices of Value podcast, where we bring different individuals on to literally just give them a platform to share their life and have conversations like this. This was very new type of conversation than I've had before. I've never talked about psychedelics. I've never had it like free flow like that. I've never, again, we're allowed to curse on this show, but I've never had free flow curses and stuff.
Oh, my bad.
No, we're allowed to. We allow it. We good with it. We want to be authentic. I'm just saying this is a new experience for my listeners, and I hope y'all enjoy it. I know I enjoyed it, and I know Unique enjoyed it.
I got one more thing to say.
Please do. Let's go.
All right. It's crazy so look, we've been looking for a place to film this. Can I stay there real fast?
Yeah,
for
go ahead.
somewhere to film it, from film this, because the spot he usually work at, something came up. But we ended up filming it in the first place that you did the podcast, right? Mm-hmm. So this is back to the beginning for you, what I'm saying? Today is, what, is it June or July?
June.
It's June, right? It's June 16th. The reason why my name is Unique 16 is because of June 16th. So shout out to my mom. It's her birthday.
Hey, I love that.
So it's cool to meet in these beginnings. It's a beginning for me,
Yeah, I love that alignment. I love that connection as well. And thank you for making the connection live so people can really think about all, because we was talking about before the podcast started, if you just free flow, live your life, you start plugging things in like, and then you connect these things. Sometimes they're powerful and motivating. Sometimes they're powerful and sad and just teach you something. But at the end of the day, there's always a learning lesson in each day if you choose to look for it. So thank you for sharing for that. But love, signing out.